But right now it's time to salute another local footy hero, those people that, well, they keep our local football and netball clubs alive. They're fantastic people in the community. We salute them every week here on the Local Footy Show. This week, we dips our lid to 92-year-old Jack Murphy, who's been the statistician at Vermont since the 60s. But Jack, you've been at the Vermont Football Club for a few years, they tell me.
Yes, I came to the club in 1968, so what's that, well over 40 years anyway, and I've been doing I was asked by John Jenkins, who was the coach in 68, 69, etc., brought us to our first premiership. He asked me if I'd do what's now become an everyday thing, the stats for the club, but in those days we only had to count the kicks, and the marks, and the handballs. And I remember in the early stages there, him roaring, not roaring, but he was a gentle giant. He spoke to the team and he said, "You know, fellas, this is disgusting." He said, "The records show you had 24 handballs." He said, "This is football we're playing, not handball." And he said, "That's ridiculous." He said, "You get one handball and a long kick right down the forward line." And I said, "I think we're getting back to that old-fashioned way." And it's been good. And I've kept the stats ever since, you know.
Jack's been around the club for the best part of 50 years, and he's been to about 850 games, hasn't missed a game in that whole time, even when he was a little bit crooked a couple of times. He's an old stalwart. He's into his 90s now, and he's always up there getting information and trying to find out what's going on around the club, and did the stats for the best part of 40 years, I think, and gave it away just a few years ago. And he's just an absolute legend of the place.
Jack Murphy is an absolute legend of the Vermont Footy Club, but he's a World War II veteran. He's been a square dance caller for over 50 years. He's done, he's just an amazing man. Absolutely, he's done the stats for Vermont almost since we started. He's got every single stat that Vermont's ever done, every kick, every goal. And the guy's an absolute legend around the club. He's an absolute pleasure to be around, and I enjoy his company very much.
He's got all the club records and a manual, keeps updating them all the time, and he can go back and he'll get the information out for you, and he'll just tell you exactly what's been going on. He can tell you what people kicked and how many goals they kicked in games and back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. He's just a magic bloke, absolutely magic bloke.
Well, taking the stats over those years, you've seen some changes to the game?
Oh, my word, my word. And I don't think they're all for the best either. I like the long kicking game myself because I remember I used to know a few at Melbourne. I remember Norm Smith saying once, "Listen, fellas, get the ball, kick it to the forward line as far as you can." And he said, "While it's down that end of the ground, it's not up the other end." And he said, "And we want to play in that half down there. No, not the other half. And let's play our match down there. Get it there first."
Well, he's a legend around the club. He came back in quite a number of years back, and started up the club statistics and kept that going for a number of years until the younger blokes decided to have a go and he moved aside. But Jack's a legend, and back earlier on, while his dear wife was alive, he'd be the last one out of the club rooms, and she'd always say to Jack, "Now, Jack, did you kiss him good night and tuck him into bed? Or what have you been doing?" But no, Jack is a legend. The young fellas love him around the club, and everybody loves Jack. He's a real ornament, a very young 92 years of age. He's a good fella, our Jack.
The blokes, they don't realise what great grounds they play on these days, because I remember when at Vermont, when I first went there, you could smell our ground from about 3 blocks away before you got there. We used to play in mud and slush. Oh, it's terrific. But it was a battle royal. But no, by the way, I just worked it out recently, and I watched about 850 senior games at the club, because I've been around a long time. I never miss unless I can help.
And Jack Murphy, no relation, gets a $250 account voucher thanks to our great supporters at the Bendigo Bank.